Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 6.
Well, good evening and welcome to Mississippi Live Weather at 6. I'm so excited you all tuned in, and I'm so excited that this is the first time y'all are seeing my face today. That means we haven't had to do any cut-ins before our 6 o'clock show. We're still having those storms continue to push across that state line, none reaching that severe level just yet. So we're going to continue tracking that out for you into the rest of your evening. So let's head right into the headlines. Storms starting to move in for you guys pretty much just south of the Tennessee state line. Y'all are already hearing those rumbles of thunder, getting those heavy downpours. Thankfully, not really talking about the severe weather aspect at this point. Hopefully we can keep it that way as long as we can, but they continue to push into our viewing area. Nonetheless, a few of these could be on the stronger side. That's why I'm talking about that severe weather risk, bringing those damaging winds. We're not talking about tornadoes. We're not talking about hail. So today continues to not really be a night that you have to stay up late with us unless you still really want to know kind of what it still looks like as it moves through North Mississippi. But for you guys kind of concerned about tornadoes and everything like that, that continues to not be a part of the forecast. On the bright side, once these storms move on through, we all reap the benefits. It's going to feel amazing, honestly, heading into your Sunday tomorrow, but especially into the upcoming work week. So let's take a look at those current alerts and actually move this out of the way because we do, I don't think this one will let me. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning just across the Mississippi River out there in Arkansas, not affecting us here, but for you guys in Tunica, DeSoto County, y'all are right on the edge of that, but y'all are under a severe thunderstorm watch, and that was issued earlier on today. It'll expire around 8. We have not seen that get extended yet, so hopefully that confidence continued to be teetering on just the overall impact of these storms. So we're going to keep our eyes on that, of course, all night long and keep you updated. Now for you guys, what we kept talking about a lot yesterday, we'd still have a beautiful Saturday. We'd still enjoy dry conditions and unfortunately a little bit muggy as well. For you guys out there in the Delta, y'all were placed under heat advisory yet again, but that'll also expire this evening at around 8 o'clock. And thankfully, we're not really going to be talking about that for quite a bit here in North Mississippi throughout the next few days. So let's continue on here. We're talking about these storms as they continue to push into North Mississippi. And we can even put this, let's switch this over towards our, it lost touch. I'm going to do that behind the scenes just so you guys can see what I'm talking about because I hate that it won't let me do that. We'll have to do that in analysis mode. We are talking about these storms as they push into North Mississippi. Here's a more zoomed in look as they kind of cross the state line into North Mississippi, just south of the Tennessee state line. And we see that severe thunderstorm warning just west across the Mississippi River out there in Arkansas. That was issued. It will expire around 6:30 as long as we don't see that get extended. So we are tracking these storms as they make their way into North Mississippi. We can even take a look at some of our cameras all across the northern half, especially for you guys out there in Corinth. You guys are getting some of those showers at this moment, kind of seeing some of those darker clouds up in the sky, and for you guys out there in Iuka, which I might be getting a little bit too far ahead of myself because I think I put those in the show. So let's get off of this. I'll come back over that way y'all can see me. I just wanted to do that for you guys. That way I could clear that up since I couldn't use the touchscreen. And of course, once we switch on over, I'll be able to break everything down. So still dealing with those showers and storms just starting to enter North Mississippi. We're going to be tracking those out throughout the rest of the evening ahead. So let's take some live looks all across our region. Out here in Iuka, this camera continues to move as it continues tracking those storms, but some heavy showers, not dealing with anything severe. 79 degrees, feels like 82. Those temperatures will continue to drop, especially as we get some of those heavier downpours. Out here in Alcorn, you can see some of those darker clouds. The camera is starting to slightly sway as well, so that wind's starting to make an impact on you guys. Only around 3 miles per hour, so not talking about anything gusty or significant, but still some heavy showers making their way towards you guys. Could hear a few rumbles of thunder. Thankfully, not talking about anything severe at this moment. Out here in Clarksdale, out there in the Delta, you guys have felt a sunny and muggy day. Started to finally see some darker clouds block some of that sunlight pretty soon, but 91 degrees feels like 113. That wind, non-existent, not helping you guys out. So that's why this rain pretty much welcomed here in North Mississippi, but we want to make sure to get through that severe weather threat together. So let's take a look at the first 12. Again, we're talking about isolated chances right now as it continues to slowly push into our region, only affecting the most northern half, upper 80s by 7 o'clock, cooling off towards the mid 70s yet again for our overnight lows as these rain chances continue pushing on in. and we're only cooling off towards the mid-70s before we're still talking about those rain chances and storm chances throughout the overnight period, but thankfully not quite talking about the same level of intensity. Most of that's going to occur within the next few hours as we are within that level 2 slight risk for the pretty much northern third of our viewing area. Everybody else within that level 1 marginal risk, even the southern portions of the delta, just in that general thunderstorm category. But pretty much wherever you are within that severe weather risk. We're going to continue breaking that down for you guys and let you know what to expect. And even heading into your Sunday, we've seen a significant change to that level 1 marginal risk. It was all across our viewing area, now pretty much split in half, almost 2/3. So we're going to see the brunt of that severe weather risk move through tonight, that line that's going to push into our viewing area and really only affect the southern half, Golden Triangle region for your Sunday ahead tomorrow. So of course, we're going to keep you updated on everything happening tonight, but also get you ready for your Sunday as we get ready to enjoy the rest of the weekend. Now take a look at your Doppler radar surface analysis. We're tracking this frontal system that's been responsible for these stronger storms, and you can see those severe thunderstorm warnings issued a lot more prominently earlier. We're not quite talking about the same kind of area or coverage with those warnings. So not seeing continuous just intensity as it makes its way further and further south, hoping to see that trend continue. We don't want to be talking about too many warnings, but we're ready to cover it nonetheless. And we're going to continue seeing those showers and storms push into our viewing area. So let's take a look at the latest futurecast. Of course, it's just going to sweep on through. We'll break it down in a more zoomed in approach coming up here, but just wanted to set the stage. We're going to see these showers continue to push into North Mississippi, increase in coverage throughout the 8, 9, 10 o'clock hours, and we could still see some heavy downpours into the overnight period, but we're not quite talking about that severe weather aspect. And even when we wake up bright and early for our Sunday, hopefully not dealing with that widespread coverage that we were talking about a lot yesterday. Those models starting to back off on the kind of overall coverage with those rain chances. Still going to be a rainy and soggy day for a few of us, but like we keep mentioning, this weekend, it's not going to be just a flood all weekend long. We've enjoyed a lot of sunshine today. We can still enjoy a lot tomorrow. Just got to let this line move on through, and then we're going to be good to go. So let's take a look through the next 24. Of course, you can see rainfall pretty much all day, but not affecting all of North Mississippi all day. We're talking about the northern half right now. It's going to start to shift to the southern half tomorrow. Still enjoy sunny skies, I promise. Mid-70s by 6 o'clock, working our way up towards the mid to upper 80s by 3, and that's the relief we're already talking about. So going to feel a lot better as we go about the day, and we'll start cooling off towards the upper 70s by 9 o'clock as those rain chances finally start moving out of our region. Now, like I keep mentioning, we're going to continue looking at those storms as they cross the border and into our viewing area, break down what you need to know, what those threats are as we get ready for our Saturday evening into the overnight period, get you ready for the entire weekend coming on up in the next 60 seconds.
It's happening right now. No sales tax at Room to Room Furniture in Tupelo. No sales tax or 24-month special financing, plus 50% off store-wide. Did we mention no sales tax? It's happening at Room to Room Tupelo.
As a bankruptcy firm, Mitchell, Cunningham & Bowling realizes many people are worried about their finances. We're here to guide you through the next steps to restart your life with easy video appointments. New clients don't have to leave home to get information about becoming debt-free. Also, convenient in-office appointments are available at the low cost of $340 upfront for a Chapter 13. You can be on your way to being debt-free. Contact Mitchell, Cunningham & Bowling today or visit our website at mcdebtfree.com. We are here to help you.
Welcome to the next generation of local news, Mississippi Live. Where you are, when you want it, we're focused on you because local matters. We are Mississippi Live.
I felt accomplished after I got my diploma. Made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Right now, from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, here's meteorologist Caleb Edelblut.
Well, good evening, and thanks for sticking here with us for Mississippi Live Weather at 6. Let's take a look at your evening planner. We are getting for these rain chances and storm chances to continue to increase in coverage. They're starting to cross the Mississippi state line at this very moment. Mid-80s by 8 o'clock, upper 70s by 11, only cooling off yet again to the mid-70s. So still a mild overnight period, but thankfully those highs, those afternoon temperatures, not going to be quite as toasty heading into the rest of your weekend. But take a look at your current heat index. We were talking about how today is still going to be sunny. It's still going to be a fantastic day to spend outdoors. It's the evening, around 6 to 7 o'clock time frame that we said we'll start talking about those storm chances. Thankfully, that continues to hold, and we're going to start to see those really start to impact our temperatures, and we can barely spot it. Take a look. Triple digits all across our region. Still been very warm and muggy. 92 out there in South Haven. So we're already starting to see that light red start to creep in. That's due to that rainfall, that rain-cooled air, few gusts of wind. That will help us feel a lot better. Now, we are talking about that severe weather risk for your Saturday. Again, level 2, a little bit more confidence on the number of reports that you could see with the severe weather on pretty much the northern third of North Mississippi. It continues further down south, incorporating most of our viewing area. Thankfully, only in that level 1 out of 5 marginal risk, but still, most of this continues to be wind related. We're not talking about tornadoes, so for any of you guys just now tuning in, this is not a night where you really need to stay up late with us, worry about whether or not tornado warnings are going to get issued, whether or not you're going to hear the sirens. That continues to not be on the table today, and thankfully, hail continues to not be relevant either. Now, we could see maybe some pea-sized hail, dime-sized hail, but meeting that 1-inch in criteria to categorize it as severe hail or prompt those warnings, those continue to not really play a factor either. In fact, if you look really, really closely, we could see maybe DeSoto County kind of getting clipped with that level 1 risk. But again, as a majority for us here, that continues to not play a factor. It continues to be the damaging wind threat that we've seen, honestly, all work week long. With those severe thunderstorm warnings that we've covered, they've all been prompted with that wind, and some hail has fallen. But again, pea-sized, dime-sized hail. We're not talking about anything severe, so still going to be quite windy, quite gusty. We've seen some reports you guys have sent in. We're kind of preparing for the same thing again tonight, but with a little bit more confidence. So let's take a look at Futurecast. Again, I'm not quite agreeing with this right now. It's been behind all day long. It's still showing these showers and storms still across the Mississippi state line out there into Tennessee at 6:30, but as you saw on radar, we're already seeing that pretty much in our northern counties. So still just a county behind here on Futurecast. So take that with a grain of salt as we continue monitoring this. But we will start to see these storms continue to push further into North Mississippi. You can see where that level 2 slight risk coming into effect, pretty much the northern third. That's around 8 o'clock, but honestly, could be closer to 7 just with how behind this model continues to be. And as we continue throughout the rest of the evening, we're still talking about heavy bands of rainfall and thunderstorms by 9 o'clock affecting you guys in the northern portions of Delta, even towards Lafayette into Union County, Itawamba, and into some of our Alabama counties just across the state line. That's at 9 o'clock throughout our 9 o'clock broadcast, even towards 10, still going to be tracking those rain showers and storms. Of course, we'll go live beforehand if we need to, covering anything that decides to misbehave. This is around 10 o'clock this evening. And as we continue throughout the rest of the evening overnight period, still talk about some heavy showers and thunderstorms by midnight. But this is also after the sun has set for a while. It doesn't really have as much daytime heating to go off of. So hopefully that limits the severe weather threat because we're not seeing this occur during the peak heating afternoon hours of the day. So it's definitely a good sign that we are seeing this later and into your nighttime period. But of course, I know many of us would rather just get it over with and go to sleep peacefully. So I understand, but definitely a good thing that we're seeing this occur later on at night. But throughout the rest of the AM hours, take a look at how disorganized it is. We're still talking about some heavy showers, but that severe weather threat going to be very limited as it continues pushing further and further south. And that's where we start creeping into the marginal risk for your Sunday ahead tomorrow. So let's take a look at your low temperatures. Again, we're cooling off pretty much to the mid 70s further on south where y'all don't get that rain cooled air just quite yet. Further up north where you guys are already seeing those storms and cooler conditions, you're only cooling off towards the low 70s. 70 out there in Red Bay, y'all continue to just shine with how nice it'll feel this weekend. So definitely two different stories compared to, or depending on where you are here in North Mississippi. And of course, we'll keep you updated on the latest. So let's take a look at your church planner as you get ready for the day tomorrow. Again, going to be pretty soggy, but not for everyone all at the same time. You see these icons all day. It does not mean it's going to be a washout, kind of similar to today where we can enjoy some sunshine. Those storms move in later. It's going to be a little bit flipped. Soggy conditions at the front end for a few of us, drying up a little bit later, but mid 70s by 7 o'clock, working our way up towards the upper 80s by 3, still dealing with some of those afternoon showers across our viewing area. And and only really heating up towards the upper 80s for our high. So let's take a look at just what I mean by that here on Futurecast. We're starting off at 6 o'clock, still dealing with some heavier showers, even some thunderstorms further out east, a little bit more confident on those. And as we continue throughout the rest of the mid-morning hours into 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, I mean, we're still enjoying drier conditions, so still very isolated in nature. And what's causing these rain changes is that frontal system and low pressure system making its way closer and closer to our viewing area. That continues to just provide the lift for these showers and thunderstorms to continue to feed off of this muggy, warm, unstable air mass that we've been experiencing all week. So still dealing with some showers and thunderstorms by 12 o'clock, and you can definitely tell really within that level 1 marginal risk that we were talking about for your Sunday, not quite affecting you guys further up north. So y'all get those storms tonight, not quite dealing with it too much tomorrow. As we continue throughout the rest of the afternoon hours, we see that coverage continue to increase as it enjoys just the warmer, hotter time of the day. By 3 o'clock, still dealing with some storms out there in Grenada, Winona, getting closer towards Winston County, leaving the Golden Triangle region, crossing the state line into pretty much all of our Alabama counties out there. That's at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, and continuing further out by 4 o'clock, still talking about some heavy showers and thunderstorms moving through North Mississippi. Very isolated in nature. We're not talking about anything widespread throughout tomorrow afternoon. It's still very on the pretty much southern half of our viewing area. But by 6 o'clock, still dealing with those showers and thunderstorms. They just can't quite leave our viewing area, and that's due to this low pressure system and cold front just continuing to sit on top of us, providing that lift, providing the fuel, and just missing piece to get these thunderstorms to continue going. So we're still talking about those soggy conditions. It's not going to be a washout all day for everyone, especially further up north you go. Y'all honestly could enjoy drier conditions almost all day long. So again, that severe weather risk for your Sunday, pretty much the southern half of our viewing area. That's where we're talking about those storms. You guys further up north, y'all are getting that right now. Continue throughout the evening overnight period before shifting further and further south for your Sunday. Good news, we're still not talking about that tornado threat or your risk for your Sunday coming on up, so that continues to not play a role. Large hail, that doesn't play a role either. We're not even talking about a little clippage in any counties across our viewing area, so continuing to not play a role, whether it's tornadoes or hail. It's still that damaging wind risk. Now, thankfully, only level 1 out of 5, so not even talking about a level 2 slight risk at this moment. Hopefully that can continue, but it's been a significant cutoff. Not talking about everybody tomorrow as that line continues to speed up and move through North Mississippi tonight. Now, take a look at those high temperatures. Again, a little bit cooler the further north you go, upper 80s all across our region, low 90s further on south for the Golden Triangle region, and of course that will continue for the feels-like values. So almost feeling close towards those temperatures further up north. A little bit still muggy, where the thunderstorms can really act on that energy, that fuel, and still triple digits for a few of us, 100 in Cleveland, 103 Greenville, and 102 out there in Belzona. So again, two different stories depending on where you are here in North Mississippi, but we'll make sure to cover everything you need to know. Now, coming back to Futurecast, this is our strike model. We still see that low pressure system and that cold front continue to bring in that colder air. Again, much needed relief. And as we continue throughout our Sunday evening, still talking about a few showers, but the overall severe threat not going to last quite as long as what we're talking about tonight. And we're enjoying a drier overnight period into your Monday morning, a much drier start. But again, we still see front here, which means it's still going to bring in those rain chances. So let me move out of the way so you guys can see what all I'm talking about. I even took it off that way it doesn't cover up anything, but still spotty chances all across North Mississippi by that 2:30 afternoon time frame. Just continue to deal with kind of the same pattern that we dealt with this past work week. Not everybody's getting these rain chances, but those who got them, I mean, you definitely knew you had a shower or a thunderstorm overhead. By 6 o'clock, still talk about those showers a little bit further east across Highway 45. So very prominent further out east for our viewing area as compared to you guys out there in the Delta, but continues to sweep across our region, coming in at that different weird direction just due to that low pressure system spinning counterclockwise. And then we're enjoying drier conditions by the overnight period on your Tuesday. Now, your high temperatures for your Monday, again, all of us starting to really reap the benefits by then as that cold air continues pushing further and further into North Mississippi, mid to upper 80s. And those feels like values, honestly, almost more impressive. We're still feeling like mid 90s, upper 80s for July. That'll be the 13th, I believe, by Monday. So Not bad at all. Below average conditions, that will be the story heading into the work week. Now, take a look at your 7-day forecast. We're still talking about these rain chances continuing to stay pretty consistent throughout our viewing area, hopefully starting to dry on up earlier, but we're talking about still 40% coverage by Tuesday, upper 80s. That will continue, but once we start drying on up, we're going to enter back into the low 90s, eventually mid 90s, heading into the next weekend. Now, don't go anywhere. Before we head to commercial break, I just want to continue monitoring these storms to make sure we don't have any warnings ongoing for our viewing area, which we don't, but coming up here in the next 60 seconds, we're going to be continuing to look at these storms, that severe thunderstorm warning pretty much just on the outskirts of our viewing area, continue to see what that looks like, what could be heading our way, and who could be affected. So all of that's coming up in the next 60 seconds as Mississippi Live Weather at 6 continues after this break.
Hi, I'm Mississippi Live Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon. Reserve your St. Jude Dream Home giveaway ticket by July 31st, and you'll be eligible to win the house and the early bird prize, a $10,000 gift card to Brooks Grocery. Visit dreamhome.org to reserve your ticket for $100 and help St. Jude Children's Research Hospital continue its life-saving work. Then watch Mississippi Live on October 29th to see who wins the house and the other prizes. Reserve your ticket today.
I have been going to Tupelo Smiles my whole life. When I was a kid, I was unhappy about some uneven coloring on my teeth after getting my braces off, which at the time there really wasn't a fix. I was recently made aware of a solution that would totally fix it, which is exactly what we did. They not only heard my concerns, but they never stopped looking to solve my problem, and that's why I love Tupelo Smiles.
Well, thanks for sticking here with us for Mississippi Live Weather at 6. Let's take a look at a few of these showers and storms that continue to push further into North Mississippi. Reading the comments, making sure you guys are enjoying y'all's day so far. Yes, for you guys out there in Ashland, y'all are getting some showers and storms, but we're not really having to talk about you much because we're not talking about anything severe. Definitely some heavy, heavy downpours getting close and kind of moving through your region. You can even see that outflow boundary gust front starting to move on out. But as far as the severe weather risk, thankfully we're not seeing that come into play. So let's take a look at our peak threats here as those showers continue to move on out of Tippah and Benton County. We'll take a look at that. Of course, we can start to see some of those light purples and a little darker shade of that start to come into frame, just saying that the hail is possible. But if we were talking about that severe hail meeting that 1 inch in diameter mark, not quite the story. We would start seeing, I mean, it would be impressive to start seeing that up here on our peak threats. Now, also one thing that I'm going to mention a lot tonight as we're talking about this and coming to our peak threats graphic, we continue to not talk about tornadoes. And if we were, we would start to see some of that red start to pop up. And thankfully, we have not seen that color really appear on our peak threats for quite a while here in North Mississippi. Thankfully, have not had to use that. This continues to be heavy rain, potential for some hail, very windy, but we're not talking about tornadoes. So looking at our precip, we could take a look back at this, continue to track that out for you guys as it continues to make its way, because this is definitely our heaviest batch, as you can see here. Further out west, still some spotty showers. Further out east, still some spotty showers. But let's take a track on this and we'll do a loop for, let's do the past hour to see how that has moved through here. Okay, and we can drag that back. Well, actually, yeah, I like doing things exact for you guys. That way I can give y'all the very best. So it makes it towards Ripley. So we can measure that out here from kind of how long it took. So maybe around 25 miles per hour. So we'll go at 30 just to give y'all a heads up. And we'll go back towards now, which we could click that for you guys. So let's do a latest track on that for you guys as this continues pushing across. Oops, that's the wrong button. Excuse me, guys. Take a look at that. There we go. Now we're going to take a look and we're going to draw this out for you guys to give you the latest storm track. And you're probably going to hear and feel the wind. That's that little line you see just ahead of this. That's kind of blowing some of these wind gusts towards you guys. So the wind will arrive just a little bit earlier before the rainfall. We'll go around 30 just to give you guys a good heads up as it makes its way closer. So Blue Mountain right about now, New Hope 625, Mitchell at 626, Claryville around 633, Bluff 635, same for Cotton Plant, Dumas 636, Dry Creek 637, Gaston 642, same for Thrasher, Concord at 643, Molino 644, same for Bynum, and Blackland around 645. Then we can switch this over, bring this back down to 2, and then talk about some other cities that you guys will probably recognize a little bit easier. Rienzi around 626, Dumas 636 again, Jumpertown 638, Boonville 651, Tishomingo 656, Guntown 714, and Marietta around 715. So still talk about those rain chances continue to move through North Mississippi. We can take a look at our camera out there in Alcorn County. Let's see if we're still getting quite a few of those showers on the camera. There you go. I mean, some dark clouds, and we're already seeing the benefits and impact with these showers. 75 degrees feels like 73, so that rain-cooled air already helping you guys out. Thankfully, not seeing too much lightning or at least cloud-to-ground strikes, so could be a little bit higher on up, but still seeing some heavy rainfall pretty much on the western side of Alcorn County, continuing to push further and further southeast, so you guys will continue to see that move across Alcorn County throughout the next few minutes, of course, with that latest storm track. So let's come back off of this, and then we're going to go a little bit further west where we're talking about that severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued, but thankfully has not been extended. So this got issued a while ago. We can put this on a loop for, I meant to do an hour, but 2 hours will work. So this got issued right around 5:35. And we have not seen that get extended as it's kind of approaching the edge right here and getting closer and closer towards the Mississippi River. So the confidence on it maintaining its strength, not quite there, but also they haven't removed it completely. So still a very strong storm as it's making its way closer towards you guys in Tunica, DeSoto County, even here towards Tate County. So you guys are under that severe thunderstorm watch, not under any warnings. In fact, I actually think they trimmed it back just a little bit, so not going as far towards the Mississippi River. So we're still not talking about anything severe happening here, in North Mississippi. We can take a look at our cameras out there in Clarksdale. Our West Helena one kind of looks more towards the bridge. I don't think we'll see anything. 90 degrees feels like 109, so starting to see those temperatures start to fall a little bit as far as the feels like values. So those clouds already helping you guys out, even though we're not talking about any rain chances just quite yet, but you guys can see those storms pretty much just across the Mississippi River and making their way closer towards you guys. Let's take a look at our camera out here in Shelby. I mean, this is what y'all been dealing with all day long, and this is what we wanted to talk about a lot yesterday, that we are getting ready for storm chances. We are getting ready for these rain chances to continue pushing into North Mississippi, but you guys can still enjoy y'all Saturday, have a sunny day. You guys out there in Shelby, 91 feels like 102, so an 11-degree difference, which is why this rain definitely going to be well welcomed, but wanting to make sure we continue to take it very seriously as it makes its way into our viewing area. So again, we're not talking about anything severe. I can zoom this back out for you guys to just do a little reset. That way you can see what's all occurring here in North Mississippi. Again, the most prominent severe weather threat is going to be in the northern third of our viewing area as this line continues to push further and further south, losing the overall intensity throughout the next few hours and into the overnight period. We're not talking about tornadoes. We're not talking about hail. It continues to be a wind-driven event. So still, thunderstorms continue to push all for you guys out there in the eastern side of Marshall County, into Benton, Tippah, Alcorn, getting closer towards Prentiss and Tishomingo County. And the good news is this is the area that you can see highlighted in your green where y'all were placed under that severe thunderstorm watch. We have not seen any get issued yet, and we haven't seen that watch get extended further south. So in my opinion, that leads me to believe that the folks out there in the National Weather Service aren't quite confident on the same level of intensity that we were getting ready for. So hoping to see this continue to downtrend. But of course, whenever any of those warnings get issued, we'll be ready to go whenever we need to. Now, I know somebody was asking about Pontotoc. You guys are staying dry right now, but these showers are going to continue pushing further and further into our viewing area. Lucky for you guys out there in Pontotoc, they're kind of going more in that southeast direction, closer towards Prentiss, Lee, Itawamba. So may not see that cluster of storms, but we're going to continue to see these pop up, especially, this is another thing I'll show you. Let me zoom in on this. So what the time of season that we're in, we're talking about gust fronts a lot here. And that's this thin little boundary. You can see these lines race across radar a lot if you tuned in a bunch throughout the summertime months, and especially a lot throughout this work week. These kind of race ahead of these thunderstorms, and what it does, it's this cold, dense air that's allowing us to feel a lot better, but it's forcing that warmer, more humid air up, and that causes those thunderstorms to kind of join the cluster. So if we were to see anything ahead of it, it kind of continues to pop those up, allow them to kind of continue to build in its intensity. But the good news is once we see this boundary just race further and further ahead of it, it cuts off that fuel for those thunderstorms. So we would like to see that line just continue to race as quick as it can, bring us some rain-cooled relief, maybe even a little breezy at times, but it also kind of helps withhold the thunderstorms from behind it starting to grow if it can race out ahead of it. So again, that's why we were mentioning when I did that storm track, you'll feel the wind a little bit before those storm chances make their way into your viewing area. But I think somebody else was asking about New Albany earlier in the chat. You guys can see those dark clouds out there in the distance. Still, I mean, that's kind of that the just colder and more dense air continuing to push further and further into North Mississippi, causing that warmer air to rise above it. So we're seeing that darker area as those clouds and just heavy rain continues to make its way closer towards you guys. Thankfully, still not talking about a lot of cloud to ground lightning strikes. So that should also impact power outages and just that overall threat and risk for us here in North Mississippi. So we're not seeing anything too energetic. That continues to be a positive. But I mean, before those storms get to you guys, we've been enjoying sunny and just clear skies all day long. We've stayed dry. We just have to get through these storm chances now together as we get ready for our Sunday. Somebody else in the chat asking about Water Valley and Tupelo. I mean, everybody here in the northern kind of third of North Mississippi has a good chance to get this rainfall and storm chances throughout the next few hours. And I can show this to you guys again. We'll go back to our SPC graphic. This is what we're talking about a lot. So the northern third of our viewing area, which I can zoom this back out just a little bit more, that way we can see all of North Mississippi, or at least our coverage area. We're dealing with this level 2 slight risk. So still more confidence on this line of storms as it continues pushing into North Mississippi. But as it does so, and it continues pushing towards the 7 o'clock hour, 8 o'clock, 9, 10, you name it, it continues to lose the overall severe weather risk, the intensity, the fuel, you name it, as we continue throughout the rest of the overnight period. So that threat, that risk continues to decrease the further south we travel. And thankfully, we're not even seeing too much at the initial time around 6:33 with many warnings getting issued. That continues to stay further out west across the Mississippi River, getting closer towards you guys in Tunica and DeSoto County, which of course we'll make sure to cover. But thankfully, it has not been overwhelming at this point, and we haven't really expected it to be that way. So definitely continues to be good news as we continue pushing further into our Saturday evening and getting ready for our overnight time period. We're not talking about tornado risk. I'll put that up here again, that tornado risk, which let me turn off the watch. That way the green does not confuse any of y'all. We're not talking about a tornado risk. We're not talking about a hail risk either. That continues to stay further northwest from us, so kind of clipping DeSoto County in the Olive Branch region. But for us here in our viewing area, thankfully that continues to not be a story. It's still just the damaging wind threat. So pretty much the exact same as that SPC outlook graphic that I just showed y'all. It's a very wind-driven event, and that continues to stay a little bit more prominent in the northern third, dropping slightly back towards that level 1 risk later on this evening. So coming back to reflectivity, there we go. Okay, perfect. Take a look at that. We're not even talking about that severe thunderstorm warning across the Mississippi River making its way towards Tunica and DeSoto County. That's been another thing. I've been watching these storms continue to move through the southeast, and I'll see a lot of these warnings get issued, and there's a lot more abundant earlier this afternoon, especially by 2 to 3 o'clock while it was pushing into Tennessee and crossing the river. But one thing I've noticed is that these warnings, they don't really get extended that much. So these thunderstorms, they build up. What goes up must come down. Once they drop everything, that's where the severe weather threat happens. And then it's almost done. And it just kind of makes its way through, still bringing heavy rainfall. Still, I mean, a lot of lightning that you can see out there. All those white streaks and lines you can see, I mean, very energetic. So the severity, though, that continues to be very, very impressive. So, and I think that just answered that question. What about the line in Arkansas? Will it be moving through North Mississippi as well? Yes, that's what we were just talking about. This was just warned. We can even go back to see when it got, yeah, so there you go. That was that severe thunderstorm warning. That was issued earlier around 5:30, and it didn't, I think, it expired at 6:30. So they haven't reissued anything, and I bet it's probably just a special weather statement at this point. Let me look at, yeah. Okay, yeah. So I'm looking at another radar behind the scenes. It shows other statements that are just below the severe criteria. So that continues to be a very good thing. So you guys out there, we can do a track on this as it gets closer and closer towards you guys. I think this one's still moving, yeah, around 25 miles per hour. I think because the other one, we'll go a little bit faster because it was a little bit stronger. So we'll go around 35. Let me put this on a loop. And actually, we'll just measure it out again. That way I can give you all the exact distance. So let's put that back towards an hour. Probably around Forest City is where that leading edge was. They made it all the way just outside of the river. Okay, so let's measure that for you guys. We'll go kind of that leading edge in Forest City just outside the river. It's still not overall. Well, let's go back here. Okay, yeah, 35. So we'll go around 40 for you guys. That way we can continue to give you a good heads up before that rainfall gets there. We'd rather give it to you ahead of time than behind. So let's continue to track that out for you guys, as this is probably the strongest batch, but thankfully still not even reaching that severe criteria. So that's going to continue to move pretty much in that southeasterly direction. We'll continue to go around 40 for all of y'all. And I'll move this over. That way the cameras don't cover it up. So there we go. Reese right around now, Whitehall 637, same for Midway, Thompson Grove, Quarles, Riceville, 639 for Gallant, Miller 640, same for Waverly, Bruin 641, Winoke, Horseshoe Lake 641, Phillips Bayou around 644, Norfolk around 645. Most of those are going to start kind of be along the river. Let's change this. That way we can still recognize, oops, wrong one. That way we can recognize a bunch of the cities, and we can move that back over for you guys so I can stand right here. Horseshoe Lake 641, Walls 651, Tunica 653, South Haven at 7, Horn Lake 701, Hernando 709, Olive Branch 715, Coldwater 724, Byhalia around 630, which I think one of y'all were asking earlier in the comments, Senatobia at 730. So still dealing with some showers and some storms, but the overall severe threat continues to be very non-impressive at this moment, and hopefully we can keep it that way as long as we can. Somebody else in the comments is asking about Iuka. You guys getting some of those showers and thunderstorms at this moment. Thankfully, not quite as heavy as you guys in Tippah and even into Alcorn County. So you guys are probably getting some of those showers, which we can take a look with our camera out there to see as those continue to move across Tishomingo County. So still some gray clouds in the sky. You guys have sent in some pictures I saw already before we went live. So hopefully I'll be able to break a few of those down later on this evening. But 75 degrees feels like 73. Not bad this evening as we continue to cool off very quickly as those storms push into our region. Let's take another look out here in Corinth where you guys are getting some heavy, heavy rainfall. If it'll let me click on it, maybe I missed just a second ago. There we go. Take a look at that. I mean, we're about to see a lot of rain start to dump on the camera. It's just on the outskirts of that heavy rain. So still some dark clouds continue to push across the region. 75 degrees, still feels like 73. You can see some of that rain out there in the distance. And again, very impressive that we're not talking about a lot of lightning, or at least making its way towards the ground. So that continues to be a very positive thing. Of course, I always speak too soon, but it's not consistent. And that continues to be a very good thing. We can take a second to look here. That may have still been up further up in the sky and not making its way down, but it looks like this rain that we're talking about right here is probably going to make its way closer towards the camera. You can see the clouds getting closer and kind of almost, let's see if I can do it right, jutting out of the screen. So that's the direction it's making its way. So still heavy, heavy rainfall. That's probably the brunt of that storm making its way, kind of seeing some of those flashes of lightning a little bit elevated, and thankfully not seeing too many bolts. And there we go. We have our North Mississippi storm chasers continuing to move the cameras in the background, making sure we have the most updated look at the storms as they continue to move on through. So never let them move past the camera. They always keep their eyes on it, and makes it that much easier for us to always click on these cameras and get a good look. You guys out there in Greenville, y'all are asking about what is in store for you guys. Oh, we'll have to go back to that. That was a good shot. Out here in Greenville, y'all have enjoyed sunny skies all day long. 91 degrees, feels like 102. So again, 11-degree difference. Take a look at that wind coming out of the south and making you guys feel muggy. Relief's on the way. You unfortunately have to wait just a little bit longer, but thankfully won't have to quite deal with that severe weather threat as intense. But again, mostly sunny skies. It has been a dry and sunny day, but also a very muggy one as well. Let's go back towards that Alcorn County camera, and we're probably going to wrap this up. Hope out there in Amory saying it needs to hurry up and come. Amory, it's hot. Yeah, I completely get it. That's why it's always been a good thing where we can talk about these storms bringing the benefits. We just have to get through it a little bit beforehand. Looks like they continue moving this camera, so it's kind of fun watching them continue to shift it as those storms move on through. So again, we're not dealing with anything severe at this moment, which is why we're going to shut this down just so I can make sure to get ready for some warnings to get prompted and issued. I thought I saw some up there. I was making sure that it wasn't. So want to make sure to be ready in case any of those do get issued. But as of right now, we continue to stay below severe limits, and that continues to be a very positive thing. So at 6:39, still dealing with these showers and thunderstorms as they're moving through North Mississippi, crossing the state line. Another batch that we did that latest track on you guys, getting closer towards Tunica, DeSoto, Tate County, and that will start to arrive. So still not the fastest moving storms, but that is also a good thing because it's not building up that head of steam. So we'd rather see them move a little bit slower, but that also could provide the risk for localized area of flash flooding for those flood prone areas. So you guys know your cities, your communities the best, kind of know. Like for me in Starkville, I know Country Club Estates, that is a very flood prone neighborhood. So try to avoid any flood prone regions in your city and community kind of throughout this evening. And it looks like they just took off severe thunderstorm warnings further up north. I think I just saw that go off. Let's take a look at that. Y'all be the judge with me. Yep, that's definitely coming off. So National Weather Service already starting to take off those severe thunderstorm watches. Excuse me, I think I said warnings. So those are coming off a little bit further north. Hopefully we'll start to see our area come off of those watches, and we don't want those to get extended. So overall, I would say looking at this right now, this continues to be a very positive thing. We're not dealing with any warnings at this moment. It's supposed to be a little bit more prominent further up north. You guys are getting that, and still very disorganized and overall not intense. So we're going to wrap this up for you guys. Wanted to give y'all the latest look at that. We're going to be ready to go live in a moment's notice. We'll send y'all those notifications anytime we do, which is why it is very important to download that Mississippi Live Weather app. You can do so right here. Scan the QR codes on your screen. It'll either take you to the iOS App Store or the Android App Store. Same app, just on different phones, depending on which one you guys have. And we'll be covering the severe weather as it continues making its way through North Mississippi. Thankfully, we're not seeing that at this moment. We'll be ready to go live in a moment's notice in case any of those warnings end up getting issued. Now, for everybody's sake, I hope y'all don't have to see my face again until 9 o'clock. That's when our next scheduled broadcast will be. We'll be live tonight at 9 and 10, still breaking down those storms as they make their way through North Mississippi. But again, I'm keeping my eyes on it the entire time up here to make sure you guys are best updated and in the know at all times. So y'all continue to enjoy y'all Saturday evening. For you guys further on south, we're not talking about those storms for quite a while. So keep enjoying the sunny and unfortunately muggy conditions. And we'll make sure to give you the very latest later on tonight at 9 and 10. So y'all continue to enjoy y'all's evening, and I'll see y'all later.